a very competitive top 6, top 7. And we have 2 different tyre strategies on the front row of the grid. How is this going to go now into turn 1? Prev should get the better start on the soft compound tyres, but it is Chives that has a good start, and he's taken the inside line into turn 1. He's got good space, I have to say, leading from pole. Very nicely done there from Chives. Prev manages to send it up the inside of Ross, who was alongside into turn 1, but Prev regains his 2nd place. Further behind that guy is still in 4th. Flew, Wiggles, Semp is up to 7th. He's passed Ryan and Pajestic. Ghost Tamino is already up to 10th, and Ripley is already up to 11th. Tackle for Life is fallen, and he's off at the exit of turn 4, and that is what the yellow flag is about. It seems to be a pretty clean start, as is the trend in this no assist tier 1 division. Coming into play, change in the leads. Chives has been caught and passed by Prev. Ross is now fighting, and Ripley has had an issue. Tucker's off again at turn 2, so he's lost a bit more ground. Prev is the new effective safety car and will decide when to go. And he's caught Ross napping, and Chives has lost it, I think, at the final chicane, and that's why Ross is so far back. He had to respond to Chives, who dropped it at the chicane. Prev warming his tyres down the main straight. Not quite as warm as they would like, but fortunately for him, Chives has dropped. Hyper's also dropped to the back of the field as well. Not a good safety restart for Chives and Hyper. Ghost is past Tidiest Bear now, up into 8th place. Hyper really struggling. Sector 3, another yellow flag out. DRS is activated down this main straight. Ross now taking the outside line. Seems to have got a switch back, and just look at that traction. Bit of wheel bump in there, but all harmless. Ross taking the lead on lap 7. Of course, this is going to leave him vulnerable down the main straight. I wonder if Ross would have been a bit more conservative on that back straight, because now he's going to be under pressure from both Aston Martins and Mr. Wiggles behind now. But Ross has a half-second lead as he starts lap 8. Here comes Prev alongside. Ross not defending the inside line. They are side by side. Prev trying to stake a claim that that was his corner. Ross forced off the track slightly. Doesn't look like any harm done, but Ross will be fighting to get back into the lead of this race. To each other now. We've got Ryan in 5th, who is also in the background. You can see pushing really hard. You see Hyper there just getting out of the way. No nose on his car. Bit of contact there between Ross and Prev. I wonder if Ross has got any damage from that. But on tyres, that's why he's 20-30 seconds off the pace from Flew at the moment. But here now, we do see a repeat. Ross didn't make the move into turn 10. Instead, he waited for turn 1. Here comes Wiggles now around the outside of Prev. Backs off just at the right time. Otherwise, there probably would have been a bit of a collision there. But Ross gains the lead back on lap 11. Chives, new fastest lap of the race, showing he has pace here as Dayman gets past FB Uno for 7th place, and in the process gets a time penalty. Ross's job now is clear. He wants a 1 second gap on these two who are fighting tooth and nail through the middle section of this lap. They're still going side by side. Mr. Wiggles forced to go across the inside curb of turn 7, but no spin on this occasion. Ross is making full advantage of this. Here comes the DRS now into play alongside. He's got the inside line and gets the move done. Mr. Wiggles up into 2nd place. Ryan's behind this group. Prev forced off track slightly. Ryan forced to lift through 11. Needed to, otherwise you're going to spin. Ryan up. Wiggles now has the DRS gap on Ryan, so these top 3 now are a little bit more spread out. as Prev pits from 4th. Ross did a Max and Charles, yes he did. Yes he did. Ghost, meanwhile, has dropped back a slight touch. He's now 8 seconds behind the top 3 and has lost a good few seconds. Padge is now on the gearbox of Ghost's Ferrari. And Lil Semp and Chives going side by side in turn 1. And what has happened there? Possibly the stewards might have a look at that. Ghost is now starting to pull away from Padge just a touch. As a result, Dayman is now all over the back of the Williams driver. This is the battle for 5th, but Dayman does have a 3-second time penalty to his name. Chives boxing onto the hard compound tyre for the rest of the race. Still 18 laps to go. Plenty of racing, not even at half race distance. Lil Semp defending from that guy. Oh, and more contact here between Semp and another driver. Again, has just missed his braking point slightly. Mr. Wiggles, 5-second penalty coming into the pits for crossing the white line. And what's happened here? It looks like he's come out of the pits onto the track. I wonder what's happened there with Wiggles. Maybe it's a glitch or something, but as a result, he's lost a big chunk of time. He's now behind Ryan, who was in 3rd. And Padge will be thinking in the next couple of laps of pitting, possibly going on to a set of soft compound tyres. Just depends on what their preference is. Dayman has already pitted in the first few laps before the safety car. Sorry, pitted under safety car, so he doesn't need to pit right now. Of course. Oh, and there's Padge. Such a great race from Padge. Great 18 laps. That spin, possibly due to worn tyres. And Rev with 10 lap newer mediums. These three will be hoping to clear Dayman as quickly as they can. Chives retires in the pits. Just not worked out for him tonight. Shame to see such an impressive pole position lap time. Prev will be hoping to clear Dayman as quickly as possible so that Ryan and Wiggles can't capitalise on any fights that those two drivers have. Prev now has a bit of a healthy gap on Ryan, 4/10 down into turn 1. He's got the move done. Dayman has to yield there. Doesn't want to fight too hard on 17 lap old medium tyre. Ryan, who sends it down the inside, hits the inside apex beautifully. Wiggles lying in wait. Ryan again going side by side with a driver through turn 12. He's got a lot of guts doing that, and he's past Dayman. Nice move there from Ryan. Very composed, very cautious at times with the throttle application especially. Gets that move done. He's up into 4th, but again, he doesn't have the DRS on Prev. Prev's job is completed. Meanwhile, beautiful camera angle of Wiggles, who's getting past Dayman, looking up the inside of Ryan. And there is a safety car on track. Ripley, unfortunately, losing the car. You'll just see him come into shot now in in a couple of seconds time. Losing it. Out of the track he goes, out of the race he goes rather. Ghost now, this is music to his ears. We said earlier on, he is hoping for a late safety car. He can box onto softs and have a really good shot at a race win here. Ryan stays out, but Wiggles and Prev and Dayman all pit. This is good news as well for Dayman, who needed to box 2. Reasonable cushion where he could pit and come out, say, around Dayman and Wiggles, but it's whether or not he wants to, that's the question. Ross indeed onto softs and will easily come out in the lead of this race. Pat 11th onto a new set of soft tyres, and that's brought him back into this race. Chance at points for Majestic once again. Safety car turned into you, so broken bodywork, says Ripley. That's cleared up why he got the drive-through penalty. Ross not going for it yet. Drivers behind perhaps think he has already gone, but he goes out of the final corner and it looks like he's caught the rest of the pack napping here. Padge is a lap down, remember, so that is not an overtake for Ghost for second. He's already in second. Padge moves out of the way and slows down, much to everyone else's, all the other drivers' benefit and pleasure. Ghost, you saw going over the curve of turn 2, he now has a 3-second time penalty to his name, and that possibly could have ruined his chance at a race win. Wiggles and Dayman going side by side through turn 4. We said there was going to be a lot of wheel-to-wheel action in the remaining 7 laps, and there you have it. Wiggles making progress up the field. He has a time penalty, but it's only 3 seconds. That is better than the 4 drivers with time penalties beneath him. Meanwhile, Wiggles and Prev once again renewing this fight in Spain. Prev leads the space on the inside of turn 2. Nice driving etiquette from both of these drivers. Can Wiggles hang it round the outside of turn 3? They're side by side going towards turn 4. Prev has the inside, Wiggles on the outside. Wiggles trying to put down the power as soon as he can. He has the inside line now for turn 5. Brakes later, bit of a puff of smoke. Prev hanging it round the outside. They're still side by side now. This is brilliant racing. Great battle here on lap 29 of 33, and eventually something has to give. Prev has to back off into turn 7. Brilliant racing there from Wiggles and Prev. It's Lil Semp, but Lil Semp with the soft compound tyres looking to fight back. This really has been a great race. Lots of different strategy calls in the opening half of the race. The safety car did even the playing field in terms of the tyre strategies, but that's where time penalties now come into play, and it could be the driver without time penalties that win this race. Ross is leading Ghost by 2.5 seconds, and Ross doesn't have a time penalty next to his name, which means he is almost certain to win unless a big mistake happens. Ryan, penalty-free race, good race from him, and is set at the moment to jump ahead of Ghost into second. 3-second lead. He doesn't need to push. No heroics needed from Ross. Ghost running out of electrical energy. A little bit of movement on the straight to try and break that toe. Ryan still trying to get past Ghost, even though he will get past on time penalties. Prev and Wiggles, meanwhile, it seems have either collided or Wiggles has made a mistake into turn 3. And Wiggles has lost some ground. Has lost a place to that guy. Should still get past on time penalties. Really? It's all about this guy. Ross took the lead early on. Hasn't dropped the lead since, even in the safety car process. Kinda was beneficial for him to pit and not lose time, but brought the pack closer together, putting him under pressure. He forced Ghost into a mistake, giving him the 3-second time penalty. Hasn't looked back since, and comes around the final corner to extend his championship lead. It was 15 points. It's now going to be 22 points. Ryan overtaking Ghost on time penalties and on the podium. Prev comes home, a good 4th position for him. That guy stays in 5th. Wiggles is in 6th. Oh, in fact, Flew, after penalties, jumps up to P5. Great result there from Flew, and just tells you the importance of keeping it clean out in a 50% race. FBUno with that drive through sent him back to 10th, but he will get a point because Padge is a lapped car. Wow. I have to say, that is a classic. Absolute classic. Couple of safety cars, handful of retirements, some major shocks in qualifying, and in the end, one driver who didn't put a foot wrong all race. IIRacingLeague takes the win and a fastest lap, full 26 points. In fact, make that a 23-point lead at the top of the championship. But still, 9 races to go, remember, all to play for. Ryan, an impressive drive from him, keeping it clean, getting past Ghost on time penalties. He made his way up from 14th on the grid, and yeah, the safety car did help him a bit, but you've got to take those opportunities and you've got to be bold enough to go on the hard compound tyres in the first place.